Yo, what up? This is Shad. I'm chilling with my man Brown, Rice, and Vessel.
I get it. Maybe I'm not big cause I don't blog or Twitter. Dog, I'm bitter. I didn't have it on the flop, but I'll win it on the river.
So there's a lot of artists like Jay Madero's, Promise, and they're known as, I guess they'd be categorized as MCs rappers who happen to be Christian.
Yeah.
And then you have artists like Shylin and Lecrae who are Christian rappers.
Yeah.
They spit lyrical theology.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that? What are your thoughts on just the whole? I mean, there's a debate that's happening, because you have certain people who are like, it has to be like this.
Yeah,
if you don't have Jesus in every other lyric that you put out there, you're not repping him, or something like that. Like, where do you stand on that?
I would disagree with those people because I just think that's a little too narrow of an idea of what music is supposed to be.
Okay.
You know? That's all I would say. At the same time, if people want to do that, that's totally cool. And I think there's clearly an audience for it, and there's clearly people who are encouraged by that kind of music. So that's totally cool.
Yeah. Well, we've gotten a lot of feedback about it because we represent kind of maybe a little bit on the more conservative side of, I guess, Christendom.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have come up to us and they're like, we see you playing like Shylin and Timothy Brindle, but then you did a whole episode on Shad. What's up with that? Like, so there's been this age-old debate. I'm not sure it'll ever go away.
I think that I've always liked the idea that we're all part of the same work. We just do different things in it. So I got nothing bad to say about people who people who have a different function in the same body. I'll never have anything bad to say about that.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. And that being said, just wondering, are you familiar with Christian hip hop at all? Or
not a ton, to be honest with you.
is there any names that you?
When I was in high school, I used to listen to this dude, The Ambassador.
Okay.
I love the Ambassador.
He was crazy though.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard any of his stuff since I was in high school, but he was crazy though.
Actually coming out with an album this year.
Cool.
I believe,
Yeah, he was crazy. He was crazy though. But yeah, no, I'm not that familiar with the scene, just because that's just not really the music that I grew up with.
Right. So we have rappers who were like Lupe who are openly Muslim.
Yeah.
And whatnot, and people don't categorize them as Muslim rap or Muslim hip hop. Do you believe religious labels should be applied to music or to genres or?
No, because if you look historically, and especially if you look globally, there's no precedent for that. It's like always throughout history, music has been, there's just countless examples of, music being spiritual. Like, music is spiritual. Like, people who have no affiliation to any kind of religion will tell you music is spiritual. Ask anyone who makes music, they'll tell you it's profound. They'll tell you that their life was saved by it. They'll tell you that it's touched them in incredibly profound ways. So just historically, there's no precedent for it, and in the rest of the world, there's no precedent for it. It's just that's just what music is.
Historically, we know that for so many years, Christianity actually impacted the arts.
Oh, of course.
In a heavy way.
Of course. Look at the whole Western tradition of art and music.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not you don't have to preface it.
Yeah.
It's it's almost redundant to preface it because music is spiritual. So why would you say this is spiritual music?
Yeah.
It is spiritual music. Music is spiritual.
Yeah.
So
it's like saying this music has notes.
Exactly.
But we've seen that decline though over the last 100 years.
Yeah, and I think what people are referring to more so is an audience.
Yeah.
So when people say, I don't know if people say Muslim hip hop or when they say Christian hip hop, really they're referring to an audience.
Okay. So who they're targeting.
Whoever they're targeting.
Pretty cool.
All right. So the word calls us to be a witness and to be a light to the world. Do you feel like you should accomplish that through music?
Yeah, I think you should accomplish it in everything you do. People maybe have different definitions of what that means to be a light, but yeah, I mean, totally. And I think that's what everybody in this whole world wants to be. You know, everybody wants to be themselves and to be a light in their sphere, you know, and to have that passion burn inside of them.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay. So you have your music, you have your art, but then there's a whole life that exists outside of the art, which I'm sure impacts it. But you're a brother, you're a son, you're Christian, you're a male. Like how are you a witness outside of your music through those identities?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think all of them. The cool thing I can say this: the cool thing about making music is that like I can't neglect those things in my life. Professionally, it will impact me professionally. If I were shuffling papers all day, I could maybe separate the two. But it's like I can't separate the two. I know in my mind and in my heart I can't separate the two. If my life is void of meaning, my music is going to be void of meaning. So that's been a cool thing that's like kind of happened, you know, in my life because I've kind of just been taken down this road of making music for a living. And I think as far as like those relationships in your life, which I think are like our primary responsibility, is like those relationships that we find ourselves in as like a son or as a husband or as a whatever. I think it's an amazing calling, and we grow so much through those things, you know, through caring for people, and you learn what it really means to put other people ahead of yourself. Because you don't learn that so much in music. Because music is kind of self-focused. I mean, like I'm kind of mining my own ideas and my own experiences. Whereas when you live every day, it's like that's not what it's about. It's not about you. And it's important. I think it's really important to be reminded that life is not about you. And even from when you go and you start to perform, you start to make music, to remember it's not about you. You're like mining your own experiences and everything, and you're translating your ideas, but it's not about you. It's about, you know, it's about your craft, it's about what you've created, and it's about how you share it with people.
Very cool.